Hello, parents! I am so glad you're joining me for this explainer today. We're going to dive into something that honestly can feel incredibly isolating, but I promise you right off the bat, you are not alone in this. We're going to talk about the journey of helping kids find their voice, specifically by understanding selective mutism. I'll be sharing the deep clinical insights we've gathered from our everyday work at Next Level Speech and Physiotherapy Center right here in Dubai. My goal for us today is to really unpack what this condition is, how we handle it, and most importantly, how we can help your little one truly shine. Here is a quick roadmap of what we're covering. We'll touch on the heartache of silence, decoding selective mutism, recognizing the hidden signs, our gentle assessment approach, how our therapy actually works, and finally, those small steps to meaningful progress. Let's get right into it. Part 1. The heartache of silence. Let's start by validating a reality that, quite frankly, breaks a lot of hearts. The absolute stark contrast between who your child is at home versus who they are out in the world. We hear this exact phrase in our clinic literally every single day, but they never stop talking at home. And it's so true, right? At home, your kid is vibrant, they're loud, they're bossing their siblings around and asking a million questions at the dinner table. But the second they step into school or some new social situation, total, complete silence. And trying to explain to a teacher that your child actually has this massive, hilarious personality when the teacher has never even heard their voice is incredibly frustrating. You know they can talk, but you just have to watch them freeze. So what's going on here? Why does a child who is perfectly capable of speaking just completely freeze up? It's really easy for the outside world to misunderstand this. To figure it out, we need to shift our focus from the frustration of it all and look at what is physically happening in your child's brain. Section 2. Decoding selective mutism. Let's reframe this based on what we consistently find with the incredible children and families we support. There is a crucial distinction we make every day at the center. Shyness usually fades, right? A shy kid warms up eventually. And defiance? Well, that's a conscious choice. But selective mutism is an entirely different ballgame. It doesn't just naturally ease up after waiting a few months. The silence is consistent and, this is absolutely key, it is an involuntary response. Your kid is not just stubbornly choosing to ignore their teacher. Listen, if you take away one thing today, let it be this. Selective mutism is classified as an anxiety disorder. It's not a speech delay or a language issue. Your child's brain has literally learned that in certain environments, not speaking is the only way to stay safe. That pattern just becomes automatic. When they freeze, it's a massive anxiety mechanism taking over to protect them. Once we all understand that, it changes absolutely everything about how we approach helping them. And hey, please take a deep breath because you are in expert hands. In our 11+ years of hands-on experience at Next Level Speech and Physiotherapy Center, our team has supported over 7,000 children and their families. We know exactly what this looks like, and we know for a fact that it responds beautifully to the right kind of support. Moving on to Part 3, recognizing the hidden signs. Let's look at the specific day-to-day patterns we keep an eye out for. It's not always just about being quiet. We're looking for consistent silence outside the home. We see kids physically freezing, pulling away, or going totally blank when someone talks to them. Often, they might only communicate by nodding or, just pulling you by the hand. Some kids show huge, disproportionate distress right before school. Or, interestingly, they might just whisper instead of using a full voice. And because these kids aren't disruptive, teachers often just label them as well-behaved. But that quiet compliance is actually masking a ton of internal panic and frustration. They desperately want to speak, but the anxiety won't let them. Part 4. Our gentle assessment approach. Let's talk about what actually happens when you take that scary first step and walk through our clinic doors in JBR. The very first thing we do, we just sit down with you. Honestly, parent conversations are our single most powerful diagnostic tool. You hold all the vital pieces of the puzzle. You know the real them, when this started, and what triggers it. So before we do anything else, our assessment begins simply by listening to you. Now, when it's time to actually observe your child, traditional approaches often demand speech right out of the gate, which almost always skyrockets the child's anxiety. Contrast that with our next level approach. We keep things incredibly low pressure. In fact, we literally never demand speech during an assessment. We just want to observe where their comfort boundaries are right now, completely stress-free. Section 5. How our therapy works. Once we deeply understand your child's unique anxiety profile, we build the plan. To help a child find their voice, we use this amazing evidence-based technique called sliding in. We start with people the kid is already super comfortable with, like you, the parents. Then, very, very gradually, we transition that comfort into a new setting. We incrementally stretch their speaking comfort in tiny, manageable steps. We only ever move as fast as their anxiety allows, because forcing it never works. Gently sliding in, that builds lasting confidence. We also totally customize the intervention based on age. For the older kids who can wrap their heads around it, we use cognitive behavioral principles. We call it brave talk. We actually teach them that this is just a glitch in their brain when it gets nervous, not a flaw in who they are. For the younger ones, we lean heavily into behavioral and environmental support, working hand in hand with you and their teachers. And of course, we have to talk about the reality of living right here in Dubai. Navigating schools here is uniquely complex. We've got bilingual schools, English medium schools. Think about it. If a kid is already terrified to speak, trying to do it in a second language is just a massive double whammy of pressure. Our team deeply gets this landscape. We bake that linguistic pressure right into our therapy plans. And we help navigate the intense expat social scene by making sure everyone, home, clinic, and school, is on the exact same page. Which brings us to Section 6, Small Steps to Meaningful Progress. Let's set some realistic expectations for what recovery looks like. We really need to completely reframe how we view progress here. For a kid with selective mutism, whispering to one trusted adult on day 1, that is a massive, monumental victory. By week 4, maybe they're chatting to a single buddy in a quiet corner. By month 3, maybe they're speaking up a bit more in class. It's a slow burn, but these tiny, incremental wins absolutely snowball into life-changing transformations. This is literally our mantra at the clinic. In selective mutism, small steps are the whole journey. With early, consistent intervention, these kids really do go on to speak freely in the exact places they used to freeze up. We just have to be incredibly patient and share on every single baby step. So please, don't just wait around hoping they'll grow out of it, because early support is an absolute game changer. Reaching out to our compassionate team at Next Level Speech and Physiotherapy Center is the easiest, lowest pressure first step you can take. Whether you're right here in JBR, the Marina, JLT, Bluewaters, wherever, we are here for you. Because you have to wonder, what if the only thing standing between your child's silence and their brightest, most vibrant self is just one low-pressure conversation? Thanks so much for hanging out and learning with me today.